warm welcome. Can you hear me? Thank y'all for the warm welcome. Glad to be here tonight. You know, I didn't think about what I was going to say when I came up here tonight. I think most of the time I shoot from the hip when it comes to just public speaking and talking about things that are passionate for me with this community. And I ran for office because I saw deficiencies within the sheriff's office. I ran for the office because I saw purpose and reason to do so. I'll tell you that I completely reorganized the entire agency, created 3 bureaus instead of having multiple just divided type tasks. And I didn't just do it on my own. As I get started, I want to talk about some of the guys that are here. Chief Jonathan Zitzman, please stand up, Jonathan. Jonathan's my chief deputy. He comes to us very well educated, very well spoken. I've worked with Jonathan off and on for probably 10 years, done conferences with him and stuff, and I'm proud to have him. I think he's an asset to our community. Thank you, Jonathan. Move over here to Chief Robbie Sales. Robbie heads up our Support Services Bureau. And then I have Chief Eric Hensley back there. He oversees our Justice Bureau. And I got Lieutenant J.P. Gonzalez back there. And one of my newest deputies, Michael Reddix. So thank y'all for being here tonight. Where's Rick Bass? There he is. Rick does all our operations. He oversees our patrol and our CID division and our crime lab. And I've worked with all these guys, and I know them personally. I know their passion. I know their value that they bring to the agency. And if you look online and look at their bios, you too will appreciate what they've done in their careers and what they bring to Montgomery County. I didn't just hire my friends and bring them to the sheriff's office. I hired the most qualified people to do the job. And I can tell you they're performing already after just 3 months of service. So very proud of the team that I have. There's no way one person can do this on their own. So I told you about the 3 bureaus. I did the Support Services Bureau. Pretty much Chief Sales oversees everything that's not patrol or jail related. And one of the things I'm very proud that he's helped me do is y'all might have heard me talk about 911 over the last 2 years. Might have heard me talk about dispatch and the 155,000 911 calls that went unanswered and over 32,000 calls that weren't answered in 2023. I'll tell y'all that since taking office, we've put a lot of time and passion into our dispatch. I feel that if we can't answer your call, we can't help you. We've got to pick the phone up. We've got to do it live and in person. So we've invested in technology. We've invested in hardware. We've invested in our people. And last month and the month before, we missed 0 911 calls. There's an agency called the National Emergency Number Association, and they set standards for dispatch. Since taking office, we've met both the first and the second part of the NENA standard, which has never been met before this office. So we're answering, let's see what I did here. We're answering about 96% of all your 911 calls within 20 seconds and 94% within 15 seconds. That exceeds those standards. So before taking office, your average time for a non-emergency call, you were on the line for about 1 minute and 6 seconds. And today you're on there for 31 seconds on average before we pick the phone up. Our average time to answer your 911 call today is 3 seconds. So we've answered quite a few calls. We've already answered 104,189 calls this year alone. So to say dispatch is busy is kind of an understatement. And I put a lot of time and effort into it with my staff. In today's times, if someone calls and they hang up before we can answer the phone, immediately an automated service will start returning that call, trying to get that person back on the line. And if they press 1 and opt in, we'll pick the phone up. If they press 2, that it was an accident, the call will be disregarded, but yet answered. I'll tell y'all that also looking at how we're answering your calls. So we answer calls for 23 law enforcement agencies. I want to say that we answered, I didn't look at the total numbers. Let me see about how many we answered last year. There was a lot. 361,423 phone calls answered. So that's a lot. And 911 was 488,525. That's emergency and non-emergency. That's a lot of phone calls. So, when we're looking at these things and evaluating them, I ask them, what do y'all do? We answer the calls for fire departments. We answer calls that are only emergency services related. That most people, they don't need a police officer. They just need the fire department. They just need an ambulance because somebody's having a heart attack. Somebody's hurt themselves. We figured out that we can reduce about the time about 50% that it takes to hold and transfer that call by investing in a little bit of software where we can get those calls to the fire department back there, Chief, and we can get them to the emergency medical services folks so they can get to you quicker. So we've reduced the amount of time that it takes to handle them calls and invest in a little bit of software where if they need to transfer that call back to us, they can. So I'm real proud of the work that we've done on that. And I think, like most significantly, that's the most important thing to me that I've done thus far. Even after reorganizing the agency, setting up support service bureaus, creating positions that we've never had before. We never had an assistant chief position, but I felt it was important that someone who's supervising 300 to 400 people be a chief. That we look at our processes, look at what we're doing. So we took our CID division, and I've taken all investigations that aren't immediately solvable out from underneath my patrolmen so they can be out on the streets serving you, making more traffic stops, being proactive in our community, and you can see them more. I think, have y'all seen more patrolmen on the street since I've been in office? I'll tell y'all that I had them give me a few numbers. I think that we've increased traffic stops by 51%. That's pretty amazing. In doing so, some of the things we did to manage that was to create a criminal investigations division. So we can look at the cases that are coming in that aren't being solved. Let's say that you have a minor car burglary or something like that. Our patrolmen were following up on them cases. Anything that's misdemeanor related, patrolmen were tasked with following up on. So a guy who works 6P to 6A that's going to be nowhere around during the daytime to follow up on this stuff, or is not going to have the resources. They work 12-hour shifts. So they don't work consecutive days. They're not like a investigator that's in the office Monday through Friday that can make phone calls and follow up on cases. These guys are working odd shifts, different times, and they weren't able to keep up. So all our investigations are going underneath the CID division. Chief Bass helped me get that streamlined. We implemented it. I think we went live, 2 weeks ago on the 1st. So now our detectives are doing that. They haven't felt much difference, but we're able to look at methods of operation. Look how we're solving crimes. I'll tell you, if we have a serial rapist, I don't need 5 different investigators on it. I need a team of investigators with a single focus so they can find that person and solve that crime so they don't continuously affect our community. Those are the type of changes that I'm implementing to make our community just a little bit safer. I'll tell y'all that the statistics are showing that we're succeeding. The statistics are showing that we're doing a little bit better, and I think that's why y'all voted for change. So somebody would come in, have the internal strength and the team to make the changes that weren't being made to better serve our community. Just real quick, I'll tell y'all, thank you. So we've decreased accidents by 4%. I attribute that to the proactive traffic enforcement that we've been doing. DWI arrests are up 26%. If you look at our Doolittle's bed and breakfast, where you at, Scott Engle? There he is. He reports on it. Y'all get to look through there, or you can look at our sheriff's website and see the number of people that have been arrested and put in jail. I've tasked our, more or less, our SWAT unit with seeking out every top 10 wanted offender in Montgomery County and putting their butts in jail where they belong so they can go to Judge Hazel. He can plead their cases out or dispose of them. I'll tell y'all that I've talked to judges in our community. They're seeing these offenders that have been absconding for 6-7 years, and we're getting them to the courtroom where they can plead their cases out or they can dispose of them, and we can send them to TDC where they belong. So, we've increased arrests by more than 10%, just with a few little changes. Reports have increased by 1.8%, because I'm telling folks, when you call and you want a report, write it. Don't make up excuses. Don't tell us why you can't. Do your job. And if they don't, I'll hold them accountable. So, our assaults have decreased by 10%. Family violence has decreased by 7%. Motor vehicle burglaries are down 39% in just a few months. Decreased thefts by 5%, and auto theft by 24%. So when I look at these numbers, I'm kind of just perusing through. Our reports are up, our arrests are up 10%. We're doing a lot of things in the community. I already went to the Texas Jail Commission, testified before them. We expanded our jail by 64 beds by getting a variance with money that comes out of our commissary fund. It doesn't cost our community a thing. I've worked with Judge Keogh, with our state legislators, to be effective in managing our jail. I think everybody here knows that our jail is over capacity a lot. We have 1,253 beds with our variance. That'll put us at 1,317, and still not big enough. It was built in 38 years ago, 1987, I think, right, Cash? So we're looking at things, trying to be efficient by moving people through our jail, through the courts, to get people out on probation, to do the things that we need to do to make it safer, to increase our bail bonding process. We're going to e-bonds. I think I saw a couple of bondsmen here, to reduce mistakes, to make things easier on Melissa Miller, to when paperwork comes to her and it's correct, it can be filed right away. By going to electronic warrants, by trying to move into the 21st century to better serve this community. I think looking at all our processes, eliminating wasteful spending, wasteful software that we still purchased, that some of it was in tune of $150,000. We never used it one time. We're working with our county attorney's office to get rid of those contracts so we can better spend the money that we have to better serve you, so we can see real movement, real crime suppression, and to work with the people in our jail to reduce recidivism. Our Chief Hensley works diligently within our jail to give people the tools that they need to cope with life when they get out, so they can function better and not come back, so they can be productive. Even though we just get to see them for a short time, the time they stay with us, we want it to be productive. We want to show them the things that they need to learn to get out and do better. So I'm trying to think of some of the things we did. We did a really cool task force during the Lone Star Throwdown. I think most of y'all know that we've had people terrorizing our community during that event for the last couple years, tearing up our parking lots, destroying property, racing up and down the streets, making them less safe. So we put together a task force. We probably had 23 agencies and 150 police officers. And I think we pretty much put a hurt on them. We made about 60 arrests. Y'all know with 300 and, I want to say it was about 360 traffic stops. So, how many? 360 citations and 188 warnings. So we made 59 arrests. We towed 41 vehicles. But they didn't take over one parking lot successfully in this county. We told them to go back to Harris County. One of the other things I'd like to mention is I did get to do a first quarterly meeting with all the constables, with all the police departments within our community, to improve our relationship so we can have better working relationships together, to make sure that we're not just serving our own interests, but we're serving yours. We're serving the interest of this community to do a little bit better. And I feel like that we're good with Constable Cash, Constable Jones. Where's my other constable at? There he is, David. I couldn't tell that white shirt on. So we've done a lot of things. I don't want to take up a whole bunch of time. I want to get down to the town hall because I want to answer your questions. Talked about a few little things. I know I've left stuff out, but if you've been following me on Facebook or following the Sheriff's Office on Facebook, you'll see what we're doing, because I've increased the amount of communications in our community to be more transparent, to work where you know what we're doing, so you can ask them questions. We've hosted several organizations at the Sheriff's Office. I've spoken at many events already. This is not the first, and it won't be the last. So hopefully I can get out here in the community and let y'all know what we're doing. I didn't bring my PowerPoint with me tonight, so I'll do better next time. We'll get down to the town hall. If we turn it over to Constable Cashy, we know what we're doing now.